right, what's up traders? It's Jay. I'm going to do a little weekend review here. I'm just going to hit some of the high points of the week, show you the stocks that I was watching. So if you saw my swing trade videos on Square, you know that I got in around 2370 back here on the 16th of June. I was trying to put a limit order in to get in down here around 2250-ish, and I screwed something up and I got in. So I had my initial stop set below the 2230 area, which coincides with this pivot point now. And obviously you see these 3 days here where the stock held some support there. But I got confident when I saw the stock holding this 2325 area. I felt like I could take some of the risk off. So I moved my stop up, and I think I moved it up after this little spinning top candle right here, because I thought, okay, that could be an indicator that this is going to turn around. So I moved my stop up to 2267 at that point. Now, if you watch up here, see these numbers. If you don't know what this means, OHLC just means open, high, low, and close. Okay, so check out the low on this day, which is this big red candle. Look at that, 2266. So I got bounced out by 1 penny. The lesson here is don't monkey around with your stops. If I'd have left my stop where I had initially placed it, I would be in a winning position right now. And I lost sight of the fact that I should have just made enough money to get out of that trade without losing anything, and then put in the initial order that I wanted to put in. And I never would have gotten filled, which is okay. I would have had my order down here around 2250. It never would have touched it. But I would have gotten out without losing any money, right? So I got in at 2370. When I saw it pushing 2450, I should have gotten out here. I knew there was going to be a pullback coming when I saw this flat top of these days here. And that would have gotten me out with enough money to make a couple of bucks, but not lose money on the trade. So instead, I ended up losing about $35 because I got basically bottom ticked. And you see now, I did make the move that I'm not going to say predicted, but what the chart was telling me was going to happen. This is the move I expected to see. At this point, I would think it's going to probably pull back again, maybe down to around the 2560 area. We're at this 1272 fib level. It may just turn around at this point, and you might see it drop down. Who knows? The takeaways, again, don't monkey with your stops. And if you get into a trade, don't hold it until it's a loser if it wasn't the entry you wanted. I trust fibs, and I really think that they can be very handy, both not only in day trading, but also in swing trade type of positions or even investing. If you look at Tesla, you guys know that I'm sure Tesla took a huge dump, like an 80-point dump here over the course of a week and a half. Well, I ran a fib on it from this low back at 180 back in December, and this is pretty crazy. So 180 up to the recent highs here at the end of June. Look where it pulled back to. It pulled all the way back to, lo and behold, golden ratio, the 618 level. It's pretty crazy, right? Like, you can't make that up. I do a retracement from the high to the low of the move. And in this case, it had been making this big move up and pulled back to that level. And so you could play a bounce there, right? Once you saw it starting to dump, like especially after these days, to me, once it was through this 786 level, the next spot I'm looking for it to go for a bounce is 618. And it did. And it may continue lower, but let's say that you, if you're an options player, right, it's probably more realistic that you would be trading this ticker. So let's say you got in around 308, 310, something like that. Could have held it for a few days and you made 20 bucks a share. You know, on 100 bucks, that's $2,000. That's huge. That's to me, that's a big payday, right? So just wanted to show you that. If you're not familiar with Fibonacci ratios, it's definitely something I think you should look into. So let's take a look at some of the day trades that I wanted to make. On Monday, I didn't actually trade. I didn't feel that I had the mental capital that day. You'll hear a lot of people say, hey, if you want to day trade, you got to bring your A game every single day. And that's really true. But on Tuesday, I didn't trade this. I was kind of half watching it. I had it on watch early, but because of the price, right, at $25 a share, I would have been able to get about 100 shares. It would have been fine, right, in hindsight, seeing the move. But to me, I'm always like, if I get 100 shares, it's really got to make at least a 20-cent move in order for me to kind of break even after commissions, which may or may not be a good way to trade. A lot of people say that you're going to be looking for an exit point that maybe isn't logical because of that. I might have, because I like VWAP plays, I might have watched this come down, test below VWAP in both these moving averages, and when it pushed back up and closed in kind of this this hammer candle, I might have thought about getting in around 26 bucks. Now that, in the 3-minute hold from 26 up to 27, to me looks good. That's a play I would make. Again, it broke through VWAP, back tested VWAP, and then it's off to the races. That's a kind of play that I would be looking for if I was actively watching the stock. So for me, again, it would have been about 100 bucks in 3 minutes. Can't complain with that. On Wednesday, Wednesday I was watching Ocular Therapeutics. So if you saw this and played this, you got a good payday. Now, I don't know what I was doing, but I missed this move. And what I'm looking at here is, so we have the opening range that pops up here, and then it kind of fades. Well, it tests VWAP here, and volume's weakening, so I don't know that I would jump in right here. I like to see it retest and hold. You see it popped up here. Then it just continued to move. I actually alerted this as a fader at this point because I had marked some resistance on the daily chart around 610, so I didn't think it was going to move much higher than that. But had I gotten in where I wanted to, right? So I think I caught this. It was somewhere up here in the 580s, and for me, that's 20 cents over VWAP. That's too high to make an entry. Like I like to get in around VWAP so that I can keep my stop below VWAP, which is generally a very, very safe, low-risk entry. So I just kind of watched it do this at that point. I thought, man, how did I miss this? So again, a VWAP bounce and then a retest is generally going to be a very lucrative play with very little risk. Keep an eye out for that if you're a bullish trader. That is a pattern you want to look for. And if you have the stones to hold it for any length of time, you can see that this thing never really got back near VWAP. VWAP? I don't know. Did I just put my cowboy boots on? Point being, it never really lost enough steam to kind of make you think like, I really need to get out here. It continued to make higher lows all the way, I mean, for what is that? A solid hour almost. So you could set a stop, set a trailing stop, and ride this thing up and make a good chunk of change. Friday is the trade I actually took. I was watching FSC. Now, there's not a lot of volume here, and this is not a stock I would typically look for, but there's a website called the Stock Market Watch. They generally have on their homepage pre-market movers, and they also send an email out. Well, I just sign up for the email so that I can see their 3 to 5 tickers that they'll have. But I like to watch those stocks because a lot of people are seeing those tickers. So you may get above average activity. And to me, this was pretty simple. You know, you had your 560 pre-market high up here. It was kind of holding down here around 540. And right before the market opened, we had these couple of levels of resistance. It popped down, and then it started to kind of move up. And I thought, okay, let me get in this thing. So I grabbed 500 shares at 553 in the second minute. Volume was fading, which I was watching, and I thought, okay, if I need to jump out of this thing, I'm going to get out pretty quick. It popped up to 560, and it started to come back down, and I thought, okay, it's not happening. There's no steam behind this. No, there's not going to be a breakout. And I had already set a stop for, like, I think it was 546. I think I had set it just under the 50, or maybe right under the VWAP at that point. But when I hit my hotkey to get out, all it did was cancel my stop. So I lost a couple more cents before I got out. So I got in at 553, and then I got out at 556. So because I took 500 shares, 3 cents, that's a 15 cent, I'm using air quotes here, profit. But after my commissions, it was pretty much flat. I think I made $2 or something. Important note there is I got out without losing money. I saw that, hey, the trade's not really going in the direction that I want it to, and I made the decision to get out. A lot of times new traders will just watch a trade go against them, and they're just not in shock, but they're just kind of like you kind of freeze and you don't get out. So what I'm learning is to get out as a break-even trader instead of a losing trader. And I journal all my trades. I'll show you guys. I keep all my trades in Evernote with tags, and I do like a summary and entries, exits, some notes and stuff. But what's cool is I think Evernote bought Sketch, if any of you were familiar with that. But you can do markup. So I always do a screenshot of the chart, and then I'll put some notes on it, right? So you can do arrows and text and all this other stuff. And check that out for your journaling if you want to. I definitely recommend journaling your trades because it gives you something to look back on. And not only to see if you are making the right trades, but I tag mine. I don't think you guys can see it. I think it's outside of the screen capture margins, but wins and losers and whatnot. And my wins are finally greater than my losers, which is confidence inspiring to me. Like I said, I call myself a break-even trader now, which is good because the next move is to become a profitable trader. That's all I have for this week. I hope that I was able to provide some good information to you guys. I know my videos are always kind of all over the place, so you just have these little nuggets of information in them. So sorry, you just got to watch the whole thing. I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks.